guys, Ashley Jennings here, posting my mentor response for week 4. And I actually met with my mentor last week on November 7th for an hour. We met on the phone, and my mentor is Joanne Lyon, and it's just been an incredible relationship. I actually have had a mentor relationship with her now for all of 2018, so that has just been so great. And I processed with her what God has been speaking to me through this class, because this has been very much so more than just a class for me. It's been right in stride with what God has been speaking to me. And so the biggest thing so far in this class has been the Addicted to Hurry book. And I am a producer, and I've talked with Joanne quite a bit about this in my life before this class. And just the feeling of stress in my life and recognizing it. I have 3 young kids, and I am a church planter, a senior pastor, and so it just is a lot. It's a full life. And so after reading Addicted to Hurry, I set out to kind of differentiate between a full life and a stressed life and what the difference is. And so I processed this with her last week, and she said some really interesting things. She said, one big takeaway for me was that she talked about stress, because that was my thing. I think my goal has been to eradicate stress from my life. And she pointed out that stress is actually necessary. She gave an analogy, something she had read about an amoeba. If you put an amoeba in a petri dish with other bacteria, it thrives because it has to fight for its life. It's under stress. But if you put it alone in an empty petri dish, it actually will die because it has no activity. So she said that actually a certain amount of stress is good. It pushes us forward into whatever is next, and even into what God has for us. And so she just helped me understand that I'm not really trying to eradicate stress. That's not exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to live a surrendered life and be very intentional with my time. And so whatever stress I do experience needs to be under the Holy Spirit's guidance, and that's what will keep it healthy and not debilitating sometimes. And so her prescription for me was a day with God every month. And I had done this actually. I have a 10-month-old, so before I had him, I had done this, and I felt kind of guilty because spending a whole day by myself is absolutely awful for this extrovert, just to be honest. And so I told her that, and she said, that's fine if you even need to make it 4 or 5 hours. She just kind of validated that for me. And so I was kind of using that guilt as an excuse to just not do it at all. And so she pointed that out. And so she said I need to spend a day with God. And so then I processed with her too. I really was struck by Foster's confession discipline and meditation discipline, and how he talks about that meditation is so misunderstood that we think it's connected to like Eastern religion meditation of detachment, but in fact it's the opposite. It actually has a purpose, and it's okay that it has one. And so I basically the treatment is that I need to have a day with God once a month, whether that's 4 hours or so, and that I need to combine it with meditation and confession. And I really like that, starting my day off with God with a kind of a listening confession. Like Foster explains how he invited the Holy Spirit to speak into his childhood, adolescence, and adulthood, and just say, is there anything? Just search all 3 of those areas. And then to follow it up with some meditation, just being open, listening for God's voice, and not having an agenda is really important. So those are the 2 things that we talked about, just the idea of what stress actually is, and not trying to eradicate it completely, but to surrender the different things in my life over to Him, and also to spend a day with God in treatment of that issue in my life. So it was super valuable and great, and I'm enjoying all your responses and looking forward to this week.